Looks like they're fairly uncontested now, which doesn't bode well for some of those early kills they want. So it seems like there's several piece of action on screen. And Alexander squad, pretty solid, strong. Map 1, not too bad. And seems like they are only contested right now by that Ryda team, who we are expecting big things from. Ryda, a little bit of a chance for redemption, being able to play in LCQs.
I do love a good redemption, but for now, turn your attention back up towards that military base side of things, that roster. Now, we saw this occur, a lot of early action for Tommy Syke and Crisscross, but we're looking for angles there onto the roster just on the other side of them. It's going to be, let's see, Erase, Solidify, IQ. A scary, formidable team to go up against. So you're going to have to figure out a way to rip one off an angle and skew that number into your favor.
Yeah, I don't know that they're going to find it without loadout as well. So the long angle held by a Bruin with a couple attachments. Seems like the first shots have gone out. Both teams aware of each other's presence, but who will strike first? Could be here for a while. Tommy not wanting to show first blood. Again, this is kind of where you set the tone for your map. If you lose one here, lose two, maybe all three go to the gulag, you're going to be in a stabilization blender all map long. And you got Crisscross. Is certainly not breaking any ankles right now, just holding some of these long angles. Bruin in hand, connects for a few. And right now, here comes the push. Top of the building. Eyes set by their long anchor. Finds one down below. Crack shields both ways. Tommy falls. Not the way you wanted this encounter to go. Not the way you would like to take this fight as Syke. You lose your anchor as the team swings back onto your solo. They read this team like a book.
Yeah, my only qualm here is that I feel like Syke could have hopped this res immediately, right? No one's got angles on them. They're on the low ground. IQ is trying to parkour back up, and yes, we're baiting it. But it's like, okay, cool. Someone's gonna have to full send this ladder, but not before the timing is of the essence. We drop one, and we get the shields cracked on another, but we still end up in the gulag.
Flawless. I don't know if Dez sub out was the right move or not, but I gotta say, with solidifying this roster, they look like a totally different team. Something is working, and maybe it's just reps and time in at this point. That was a perfect execution. They broke down that team limb from limb and sold them for parts to some droid army. I don't know what they're doing, but right now it is working. Top 4 as we swing over to a team. A lot of folks expected to be there, but not quite. Just outside of the top 5, inside of top 10. This team dropped very early.
They did, and when you think about it, that map number 1, they had 12 eliminations, but to fall this early, Tommy just kind of separated back, trying to hold that anchor. It's going to cost a lot of time to try and get that res off, and unfortunately does not come through, finding themselves in the gulag. And now, well, actually, wait.
Right back.
Okay.
That was a quick right back into the lobby. Not sure what happened to the Gooch or what have you, but Tommy right back into the mix. Might have already been to the gulag, so as he fell, they immediately bought him back without even a second for time, because they cannot risk being pushed. But as we swing over to another fight, back into the mix, we've got T, a sub for this team. Swapping teams. There was all types of roster mania. We broke down the top of show. Go back and watch it during a break. Icy Scopes, a sub for this mop squad. The battle of the X Factors, who will get the better of each other.
All right, so here we go, just kind of working on up, and yeah, we do get that gulag down on that bottom right-hand side, and he was just like, see ya, sure. I'm going back to Urzikstan. You can stay down there and try to whatever you gotta do. That explains the quickness. Yeah. That explains it all.
Doesn't even waste a single bullet, just sprints for the zip and gets out of there. That's funny, but yeah, this fight is a weird layer cake where you got a couple different angles you have to fight from. Does make a push and opens up the window, but unfortunately almost gets cut down. Very well executed to get out over this wall so they don't lose their life. And now they're going to sprint out of here. I think this is the right call. If this Icy Scopes team can full wrap out of here, this fight's going to take like 5 minutes, Tiff, if they would have stuck on top of that building. They know they got work to do, and right now they're just wasting time. You need a ton of eliminations. Right now, the metric per game is 20 points, as we see several teams being eliminated, several fights happening, and here's one of them. Grev in trouble, goes down, as you see that Sway team push forward.
And it might keep skewing more northbound. Grab Dez in the gulag. Sin trying to make that last stand, but can't do it. Sunny, Rudy, except on your screen. Now, this was one of those squads that was finding themselves in a lot of power positions in that first map, but was really not getting into the engagement. So to already kick things off, and you can see that Fnatic roster on the opposing side. Skullface to the gulag.
Yeah, that is brutal. Now, we didn't see the total team tally tick down, which means we know they're in the gulag. They are not fully eliminated. If you're a big fan of the Fnatic team, here they are. Here's the gulag look. couple players in the gulag, a couple players getting back. News wins that without even hardly losing a single iota of health. Right back in. They're fine, but a frustrating start for a couple other teams. You see that Super Rob team get fully eliminated as well. Fnatic back into the stabilization blender. This is much more reminiscent of NA finals than it is EWC.
All right, well, rated first time on main here. Over in power, they've got that colony. Watch Waldo, Nickel squad on the other side, and just trying to find that angle, right? Playing along these fence lines, and when you start throwing in these smokes and these mortars, things get very hectic. But you just have to find that information and do what you can, because it's still very open. You're on that inside of the ring here, and sure, people are going to want to push this area, but for now, this is very isolated.
Woo!
Oh.
Nice shots from Colony. Does get traded out from Mayapo, one of the top slayers in the game. When things are going their way, this team is one to watch out for. A lot of folks' favorites. They should win this fight, but not without losing a bit of blood. Rated, fully eliminated, which means Mayapo Prospect have to make a play here on Waldo, and Nick Cool still lurking around the far right-hand side. Nick Cool is their IGL. He's got to be yelling at Waldo to back up and get back to him. It's a true 2v2, and this might be a massive breakdown from that rated squad against Nick Cool and Waldo. A great IGL call means Prospect is in trouble here, Tiff.
Yeah, with Nick Cool on the high ground like that, just taking those angles, it really breaks down a lot of that. So Prospect kind of deciding to disengage and try to pull it back to a more favorable position. And that is going to provide a lot of room for pursuit. Rated, though, still up and at it. We're just waiting to see, can Mayapo come back from the gulag? And then we have the utter breakdown. Rated, fully eliminated. Mayapo and Prospect on must-win gulags.
Yeah, this is brutal for a lot of teams. You can already notice 3 squads fully eliminated out of that lobby. The question is who? Team Grev, Desmond, Grev, Sin out of this lobby. 0 points to their name besides maybe a single elimination. But Mayapo is trying to make sure that they're not the next team. As you see, Finesse's squad fully eliminated out of this lobby. 36 teams remaining. Things are starting to heat up, and Mayapo makes it look easy. Right back into the map he goes.
All right, well, if Prospect wins here, it makes things so much easier. I mean, he's got a ton of cash for the regain. Just need to kind of deal the finishing blow here to Rob Easy, but we're focusing on that reload. Get all the bullets you can. Slide, keep those concrete barriers, but the prone and the dead center, the smokes, that is... This is just a legendary breakdown. We're talking the squad that came in first seed, just barely hanging alive.
1.2 points away from already having a ticket to global finals. Now struggling here in our LCQ. Still a lot of ground that they can run, but it's slowly getting smaller and smaller. The runway is, well, not very long in LCQ. It's only 5 games total, and the first map wasn't great. And game 2 certainly not looking great either. Collapse squad, DSAV, again, on paper, shouldn't be here. A spot opened up, they got in, and they're at the top of the leaderboard. Talk about Warzone craziness. This is what always happens in Warzone competition. There's always an underdog, and apparently this DSAV team is an underdog for the beginning of the tournament, but not for now, as we swing back to some more action.
Oh, Sir Taylor here in the building, trying to take angles, but you've got Leonard, Clown, Little Mario looking for a play. They know someone is here, but they just have to lay eyes on him, and immediately throwing that trophy system down before the push, and well, not much you can do there for Sir Taylor.
Okay, Little Mario, I see you. Edge of zone, though, still a lot of ground to run here as we make this big rotation. You can see they're way over by Outpost, way over by Cargo. They're gonna have to run through Cargo, nearly isolated on that far western side of the map as we swing over to a couple more teams deeper inside the zone. We are headed to Old Town, Low Town area. The question is, where will the final couple circles be? Everybody having to cross the outskirts of the rivers that surround these 2 POIs, coming from City, coming from Cargo, coming from Popov. His Vonbot team is spread thin. Maybe just Vonbot alive. Taking a look at the map view here, it looks like maybe... Yeah, it looks like Devo, the only other player, and likely floating or somewhere else on the map. Vonbot in deep trouble. Dominated in lower bracket round 2 and said, I want scrims. This wasn't even a competition. And then really struggled in the finals and seemingly struggling here today again.
Yeah, I love that we were preemptively throwing those smokes to try and cover our angles, but by that time, the likelihood of you've already been live pinged and just kind of continuously tracking through that, it's really unfortunate. You do still have one member of your team up, but we do see that full reset in the background there of that team rated squad. Before we get there, though, turning tides back to Bizarre. That Team Tommy squad on the opposing side. Reed Boy gets cut down from the high ground. Tommy trying to crawl back to Teeny, but not before Obs puts the finishing touch. OP Marked squad, man, it's so tough.
See you later, OP Marked. They thrived against lower quality lobbies. Apparently, this one not lower quality enough. Goes down early, I think 33rd. I think they're fully eliminated. I'll get a fact check on that as soon as I can. But Tommy's team wiping up the edges of the lobby and slowly making their way in here over by Bizarre. Now, there's only one team over here in farms. That's Team 14. That's the only squad that can contest them here in the next minute or two. That's Attract, Colors, and Riaz. And they're just now buying back their teammates. So this Team Tommy has a nice position to wipe up farms and maybe cross a bridge straight into Team 7, which will be that Team B Mark team that's going to be lurking and waiting for the rotation. So yet again, Team Tommy hunting edge of zone, working their way in and have to fight through some of the teams that are going to try to hold them.
It's gonna be a really tough, right? When you've got B-Mark in 9th place, you've got Z-Colors in 10th, and Tommy in 13th, all coming in from that right-hand side of things. Now, when you do have that squad that's on that inside of the circle, you have the mobile buy station there to kind of protect. And a lot of teams in that area could look to rotate and make a play for that, but not before it's defended. We do see that regain occur over on that northwestern side of Old Town. That's gonna be team rated. And even then, we see Mutex, Intex, Believe kind of in this big fight on that northern side, the top of Old Town. Now, they've been landing on that northwestern side and kind of continuing this rotation in. With the Mutex on 2, I would love to see them get some more because they're just on that outskirts of top 4.
Just on the outskirts of top 4, you saw that green 5 on that map view. That's that Tommy team that had to either rotate up north or south to rotate to the west into our POIs of choice, which is Low Town and Old Town right now. This Believe squad, again, a top contender, a team that a lot of folks have on the prediction list. A lot of folks assume to be maybe 3rd, 4th in this competition. Still got a lot of ground to make up, but seemingly things are going their way this time around. About 7 eliminations between the 3 of them as they address this Fnatic team that has barely been able to restabilize and find their footing in this map. Fnatic only on 4. This is a battle of some of Warzone's finest. Here over by Fire. This could be a big one, especially where they're located on the map, Tiff. Up by Opal, here on the north side of our zone. This is going to open up a window of opportunity to make it to end the game. There is a gigantic runway all the way to what would be the final circle if they can take out their opposition. It's a question of who moves first.
It's true, and a lot of the circles that we see in this area do tend to pull toward the northern side. Should it be that, this is going to be such a priority rotation for them because just south of these buildings that they're controlling, there's still a zip in play. So it's going to be dangerous to try and make a move for that, but you could also decide to kind of just axe it down, deny other teams, because these fights that we typically see between Fire and this culmination of buildings over here, they get drawn out. But what Fnatic is doing is they're starting to close the gap. They want to get that distance and take control of this Team Mutex roster. And with Almond grabbing that knock on to Believe, that's kind of the opening war cry for that Fnatic roster.
Signal flare in the air. Are you going to full 3 push in and risk the 2v3? I certainly would. The problem is we've got Skullface way on the other side of the building, likely covering the retreat maybe from this Mutex team. Here they go, trying to make a wrap here with some smokes. The readdress this fight from another angle or maybe push the anchor. Skullface is lying in wait but can't quite get shots down on this duo. They're able to make it into this next building. They've completely avoided the gaze of the Fnatic team. Fnatic's more worried about attracting Colors rotate again. Finally, Skullface spots him up, but it's too late. Mutex team out of here. They're going to take the zip and leave likely or head underground to rotate out. A missed opportunity for a full team wipe as they lie in wait for a potential another.
And there's only going to be so many opportunities to be able to hit that buy station back unless you have a mobile that you can throw. Now, granted, that's going to take time, and teams are going to want to shoot that out. So we consider that a victory there for that Fnatic roster. The issue with that is they were only able to grab 1 elimination before that team runs away. I do see an opening knock on to Attract. The full doesn't come through, and it does decide to center on up over Low Town. Now, chat, if you guys want layer cake end game action, we're about to be in for a treat.
Yeah, this is a quick aerial view of that Old Town side. All of these teams having to rotate into Low Town. All of these teams likely going to fight each other as they rotate in, and only a couple teams smart enough to rotate very early. It's Rated already out of dodge and into the new, coming in from Old Town. The first team there, which means they likely will be able to hold a lot of these squads. This aerial cam is showing us where all of these teams are located. You see Schween way on the right-hand side, lurking and waiting, doesn't have a team to really fight with, as the full team of 3 solidify IQ and Arrays, really the only team that and make waves on this side of the map, trying to find a couple eliminations, and they're able to do it at least on one, picking up Magoo. That is a full team wipe, by the way, on that Magoo team. Future has game out of here as well. We're into the fifth circle. Our gulag long gone, and only 24 teams remaining. All of these kills certainly going to pay off, as you see Mutex getting right back into the mix, even with 2 finding a couple eliminations.
Ooh, we'll check it in here with that Oreo season roster. Did see them into the end game of map number 1. So we know they're relatively consistent there, but currently sitting on 6th place overall in the leaderboard with 15 eliminations. We'll check back in with them later because Lowtown, it's about to get mixy, and JTech, B-Mark, Sly. We knew they were into the top 10, but you're going to have to stay alive for just a little bit longer and look for some more squad wipes. And speaking of squad wipes, did you check that kill feed there, Ghosh? Did you see what I see? Team Tommy down and out.
A lot of top value teams getting fully eliminated, and it's all about the top 4. This Dame Different squad, we're in trouble for a moment here. You see that Mutex team, by the way, with the duo. They found some early engagement. They found kills, but unfortunately can't find the placement. They fall in 21st out of the lobby as well. Some of our top teams fully eliminated before any sizable multipliers. We're just now into the 1.4x. That Mutex team didn't even get 1.4. They got a 1.2. We are in trouble if we're dropping 2 maps out of 5.
We're in shambles, and you know, a lot of that started when they hit that disengage from the Fnatic roster. Fnatic ends up running into them again. They get all those eliminations, but then you kind of see in some utter breakdowns of a lot of our top teams as they're working their way into Lowtown. And this squad, yes, we still have to figure out how we're going to cross that waterway, because everyone is going to be looking at you. And do you PDS play it? Do you try to stock up 7 smokes? Like, what are we going to do to cross this water? Because everyone is moving ahead of you.
By the way, exact sit rep Sneely fully eliminated as well at about 19th place. So maybe they found more kills than they did last time, but certainly not a better placement, or even rivaling their first map win. We will see a new winner in map number 2, and I don't know it's going to be this squad. Way out on the edge of zone, a full team of 3 pushing them. Here comes Rob. Here comes IQ. Watch out, Colony 2K in trouble here with Waldo. Going to be pushed by a full team of 3. What can they do with the PDS? Not a ton of resources, not a ton of plates. Frankly, not a single plate to the side of Watch Waldo. In trouble in the gas and gets eliminated with a nasty wipe and a wrap from Solidify. I'm telling you, this IQ Arrays Solidify team is looking strong, but they still have a lot of ground to wrap here. Look at the rotation they have to make. They lose 1 in process. They got to go over the water or over the bridge. It looks like they're going to do a little bit of both.
Look, as soon as we get over this, because you think about it, they're already into the top 4 here. You can see it on the right. They're in 2nd place with 28 points. Now, with 16 squads remaining, even if we can just make it into that top 10, can we secure a 1.6x multiplier? They've been in fights since the very beginning, kicking things off over in sub base, and now we're looking to kind of see if we can gatekeep that little Mario roster, but we have to worry about our flank now, because here comes all the incoming lethals and utility from this squad, and we don't have a lot of angles to work with.
Big push from Clown. Mario pushed the equation when you have the advantage. Very well executed to grab another team wipe and a couple more kills to boot. Here's a quick overhead look at our new zone. We head deeper into Lowtown. Everything on land, no more water to play with, as this Fnatic's team is just holding on by the skin of their teeth. They have been just waffling about this map. We're going to take a quick listen into this duo and see what they're able to pull out here in the final moments of map 2.
Oh, on your corner bottom, just in a fucking corner bottom.
Inside.
Only one. That kid's a solo, okay?
You're 12th right now. He's getting held, that solo.
Yeah. He went back outer.
Yeah.
Above you.
Behind you.
Yeah, you need tents if you can get it somehow. Come on. Oh, bro, that one's just riding for the placement.
Dude.
Skull just play down next time. He didn't.
Holy gosh. We need 10th, and they're the 11th squad to falter. For now, let's keep our eyes on kind of what's occurring here in Lowtown. You've got Twitty with that ultimate high ground. That Green Dose Freddy, Stable J roster is still reaping benefits, but Clown, Little Mario, we already saw them kind of eliminate 1 squad. Clown's on 5. Could be the big game that they need to take over the top of the leaderboard if we can stabilize. That circle pull not in their favor at all.
Yeah, they're just so deep inside of gas. I mean, there's a lot of PDSs being burned here before we even make it to our new zone. And the only team inside that new zone is Squad 7. You see B-Mark, J-Tech lighting up the kill feed right now, holding down that edge of new. You see Fade's team fully eliminated. B-Mark squad is hanging out in the gas, way out on the other side, and they've got one roamer up into the mix. But this is the fight at hand, way deep in the gas, fighting for not only position, multipliers. They need a kill here. They need a full wipe. We're looking for top 5 for the 1.8x. They got a ton of kills to boot, and they're going to hang on to it. There it is. They've secured it. We lose Icy-Scopes, which means we get top 5. Now Lil Mario and Clown just have the rest of this map to play around with. Get as many kills as you can. You're not going to win, but with like a couple more, and it's not like you're going to get any.
Not the swing into a full squad Ryda and Picnic on that opposing side. We do have selves, but we do not get them to come through. Down to the final 3. That Dame different roster we were hanging in with. Stable J and Freddy, and Slide and B-Mark have to come off that high ground. We jump on down. You see that 1v1 with Freddy. Freddy takes it. Slide now down and out, and Freddy and Stable J have reunited on up. The 2v3v1.
Dame different cleans up the bottom squad and doesn't lose a player for it. They've got player advantage. They've got an opportunity to win it all. Dame gets one. Dame looking for the second. They get Stable J and they win it all. They get 21st in lower bracket round 1. Sneak into the next competition because a team drops out and then they win map 2. Right now, LCQ is the story of the underdogs. A massive victory for the Devious Gaming squad. Very well done by this trio.
Look, that has got to feel so solid. My only concern is how many eliminations did we pull through that? Because we sat on this roster for quite some time right before a lot of those final rotations come through. So let's go ahead and kind of zoom on out, because they are coming from that opposing side where 3 teams are just toppled on over there. You have Little Mario Cloud, you have Oak Boy and Picnic. So these rosters that are kind of trying to finesse their way through the gas, they pick up a